Yeah, hi there, and I am Michael Buckoff. I am the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the TOEFL online course, the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And in this video, I am going to share some very valuable information about a student who, at the age of 17, scored 102 out of 120 in the TOEFL IBT exam. In this video, I will be telling this student's story. Alright, so hopefully if you're watching this video, this will be important, especially, for example, if you're a mom or a dad and you have children right now. Maybe you live in Egypt, you might live in China or Japan or some other country where English isn't the principal language, but you have children and you want children to master the English language. Maybe later on in life you want them to attend maybe an English-speaking university or something. So if this fits your situation, I think that you'll like this particular video. Now, if you're currently preparing for the TOEFL IBT exam, I think there's also some valuable information in this particular video. Alright, so first let me kind of tell you the background here. So I teach students from about 60 countries all over the world, and a lot of my students will go to YouTube, they'll watch a lot of my videos, and then some of these students eventually will come back to this particular website and they will join my course. Now, in either case, when students complete the TOEFL exam, they will sometimes come back to me and they will share with me their results. And that's exactly what has happened in this particular video. So first of all, I'm going to just use the student's initials for privacy purposes, and this student is also in high school, so I don't want to share too much personal information. But anyway, student says, I am R from Egypt. I'm 17 years old. I took the TOEFL IBT to apply for some American universities as an international student. I want to tell you about my TOEFL test score, as the day before the test, I kept listening to your interviews with other TOEFLers who exceeded 100. For my surprise, I got 102 as total points. So the student got 23 in the reading, 28 in the listening, 23 in the speaking, and then 28 points on the writing. So keeping that in mind, I contacted the student and says, hey, can you tell me your story? Tell me if you have some good information that you'd like to tell other students about your preparation. I think they would be interested in hearing your story. So here's what the student said. Says, how are you? Sorry for replying late. There are two reasons for this. The first one is that I'm a high school student and school starts in Egypt, so I'm very busy doing homework and studying. The second reason is that I had problem with internet connection, and that is also why I wrote a message instead of recording and uploading a video. Now, anybody watching this particular video, you can see that this student is not afraid of writing. I mean, this is the email I got back from this student. And the student also posted the comment over my website. So what does that mean? It means all writing practice, whether it's an email, whether you're doing the integrated writing task for the TOEFL IBT or whatever, it's all valuable. So never be afraid to write longer emails, especially when you're practicing your English. So this person here is very, very valuable in terms of learning a lot of what you have to do. So in the second paragraph, the person says, about my preparation for the TOEFL test, in my point of view, any student needs to have background about English before focusing on the TOEFL materials. For me, I have been studying English at school since I was 5 years old. I watch a lot of American movies and I listen to a lot of songs. However, I started concentrating on preparing for the test only 2 months before it. So, what can we learn from watching this video? What you can learn is it's not a good idea to start your TOEFL preparation if you don't already have a good background in the English language. That's exactly what that means, right? So I do get a lot of students who go backwards. They do TOEFL preparation before they have a background in English, and that's not a good idea at all. And that's exactly why my website, my online TOEFL course, I focus on 3 specific steps before I get into the TOEFL. My students focus first on vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. They build their academic English language proficiency in those 3 areas before they go to the reading, listening, speaking, and writing parts of my course. All right, so let's go to the next paragraph. I am used to studying grammar since I was 9 years old, so even my instructor told me that I had no serious problems with grammar, but I answered a lot of grammar exams available on the internet. I used, quote, Longman preparation book for the TOEFL test, end quote. And if anybody's watching the video, this is by Deborah Phillips. You can find it on the internet very easily. You say, in order to learn all the skills of the questions of the test in all sections. All right, that's good. So we can learn 2 things from the video now. Is the student had a very good background in the English language before TOEFL preparation, and then as the student started the TOEFL preparation, the student used the Longman preparation book. Okay, next paragraph. In the reading section, it is important to be familiar with a lot of sophisticated words used in academic English. I have already been familiar with them because I've done several science fair projects. I used Quizlet.com. This website provides students with thousands of flashcards to memorize the TOEFL, the SAT, etc. I had my own account. I made my own flashcards as I used to highlight words I did not know in the reading passages in the Longman book, translated them into Arabic, memorized them, and made flashcards for them to revise them later. The most important thing to improve the student's vocabulary is to practice using them. And that's a good idea. Now, if you guys aren't sure what the student's talking about, you can go to Quizlet.com. You have to create an account, and you can create digital flashcards. Flashcards means you can put the word on one side, a definition on the other. So this particular student, it looks like, went through the Longman book and probably other reading materials and started creating flashcards of those unknown words. So the thing is, what I like about what you have said here is you didn't go on the internet and buy somebody else's flashcards. You prepared your own flashcards. I think that's a very good idea, and I recommend for my online students, when they're creating or when they're actually completing the vocabulary section of my course, I encourage my students also to create their own flashcards as they learn the words in my course. So you say, in the listening section, I use the materials of the Longman book. In addition to this, I'm used to watching movies and listening to songs. So it looks like you've been doing this for a very long time, and this is typically the case that I see with students who have TOEFL scores over 100. Most of these students used English for many, many years, and like in your case, they only spent 1 or 2 months doing TOEFL preparation. All right, let's go to your next paragraph. You say, in the speaking section, all students need to know that the more you develop your listening, the more your spoken English will be improved. I had 2 American friends who I talked to them. You probably want to say whom I talked to via Skype. You don't have to put them at the end there. You say, this helps me a lot to improve my pronunciation. In addition, I practice speaking with my friends who have been preparing for the test. Good ideas. The main thing we can get here is exposure. It's important to get as much exposure to the English language as you possibly can, and especially by talking to people, and for example using Skype to talk to people. That's an excellent way to get this exposure. I also agree with what you said about listening. As you listen to movies and songs and you watch TV programs, your speaking and pronunciation, it gets better. Okay, then you say, in the writing section, I answered the independent and integrated tasks. Then I asked my instructor to check them for the grammatical and style mistakes. I also asked my American friends to check my essays for mistakes, as they are experts at this. Good idea. And I'm always recommending for my online TOEFL students, I have 40 independent writing tasks today. I have over 43 integrated writing practice tests, and I also encourage my students to submit their practice tests on a daily basis, because as you practice, you learn how to develop, organize, and edit your writing much better. Okay, then you say, 3 weeks before the test, I answered the computerized tests in the Longman CD, the Barron CD, the complete guide to the TOEFL test, the official guide to the TOEFL by ETS, and the free samples available in the ETS website. Those materials, you want to use past tense here, right? Those materials help me adjust my performance in the limited time of the test. And that's all. You want to say here, that is all that I did to prepare myself for the test. A day before the test, I listened to your interviews with TOEFLers and your comments to students. Best wishes to you and your family. All right, so in conclusion of this video, what can we learn from a 17-year-old who scored 102 on the TOEFL IBT? So 2 basic ideas here. Number 1, it's important that you have a very good background with the English language before you start your TOEFL preparation. And in this student's case, this student was using English, or has been using English. I should use present perfect. This person has been using English since the age of 5 and 9 up until 17 years of age. Now, the second thing we can learn is the student also used some TOEFL preparation type materials, but not for very long, for about 2 months leading up to the TOEFL exam. And then, right before the TOEFL exam, the student went to YouTube and watched some of the videos that I have done. And my name is Michael Buckoff, by the way. I'm the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of the lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. But this particular student went to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in going to my YouTube channel, you can go to mbuckoff 1965. I'll spell it for you, MBUCKHOFF. So this student went to my YouTube channel and started watching some of the videos or interviews that I did with TOEFL students who scored over 100. Now, the question is for you, can you score over 100? And the answer here is maybe. So if you have a pretty good background with the English language and you don't mind studying on your own and you're motivated to talk to native speakers, you're motivated to listen to listening materials, you like to read a lot on your own. If you're a pretty good self-starter and you like to use English a lot and you're living in some other country other than English, you will have a pretty good chance, I think, of meeting your goal. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video that I just did. Now, if anybody has any other suggestions, those of you who have scored over 100, if you have some ideas of things that you think are important in helping students score over 100, you can make your comments below this video. And if you do that, thank you. A lot of students want to know. They want to know exactly what they need to do to reach their goal.